everybody, my name is Chris Graham, and today we're making buffalo wing dip with party fowl wing sauce. Alright, so the ratio is about 2 to 1. We use 2 cups of heavy whipping cream and 4 cups of gorgonzola crumbles. Basically, we're going to warm the ingredients up. We don't want it to burn, so we're going to watch it very carefully. So, we're going to pour our ingredients in the saucepan. 2 cups of heavy cream and 4 cups of gorgonzola crumbles. That's about all it takes. Turn on our heat on medium. About the egg. We don't want it to burn, so again, we're going to watch it very carefully and just let the ingredients start to melt and mix together. Our cheese sauce has gotten warm, and we're just going to let that sit and naturally let the cheese melt, just slowly. Now, blue cheese is going to melt a little slower than most. It's not like you're making a fondue or something like that. You just want to let it do its thing, and then we're going to hit it with a stick blender and smooth it right out. Okay. While we're waiting for our cheese sauce to cool, we're going to take 1 bunch of fresh parsley, give it a little chop. We want to try and get mostly leaves, but a few stalks isn't really going to matter since we're going to put it in the food processor. I like to rough chop it, just so the processor doesn't have to do as much. We're going to take half of a red onion. Everybody has their own way to cut onions. I have mine. Peel that off just to I'm going to peel that off just to reveal the nice purple flesh. Cut off any blemishes. Take it. It doesn't have to be this small, mainly because, again, you're going to put it in the food processor, but it just takes that much less time if you do a little more. Okay, meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're going to get our chicken going. Now, for something like this, I prefer to have a softer texture, so I like to poach the chicken breast. Takes a little while, but the flavor and the texture is so much better than just baking or grilling. Since there's not a whole lot of displacement with the blue cheese when you pour it into the heavy cream or vice versa, we wind up with about 4 cups of sauce, just a little above. And I know I said I was going to use a stick blender, but the Ninja is going to have to do. Anyways, we're going with about a half of a medium red onion and 1 bunch of cilantro. We're going to put it all together and blend it up. We're going to start on a slow speed and slowly move it up. Alright, that should just about do it. Okay. We're looking about that consistency. Fairly liquid, but when it cools down, and when it cooks into the rest of that chicken and the sauce, it's going to thicken right up. Okay, since I don't think we're going to use all of this liquid, we're going to go ahead and pour it into its own container. That way we can save a little bit more for the next time. The chicken is simmering nicely. We're going to go ahead and get it turned over, make sure everything gets cooked evenly. It's looking pretty good. Now we're going to shred this and chop it. We want small pieces, but we don't want chunks. We just want little bits of shred. There we go. After our chicken is cooled sufficiently, we want to go ahead and just give it a little shred. it apart in fairly large chunks for now, and then we're going to come back with our knife and chop it apart. Now that we've given our chicken a rough shred, we're going to go ahead and chop it a little bit. Notice the chunks are pretty big right now. Well, fairly small because we want you to be able to pick this up with a chip. We still, however, want you to feel like you're getting a good piece of chicken. So that's about how big we want it. In order to get the correct ratio to the Party Fowl wing dip and the buffalo chicken dip, you're going to want to use 1 part Party Fowl wing sauce and an equal part of the Gorgonzola cream dip that we made earlier. You're going to love it. Now that our sauce is made and the chicken's been diced, it's time to put everything together and get it in the oven. You start by putting all your chicken in the bottom of an oven-proof baking dish. And in proportion to your sauce, I'm not really sure how much we've got here. I'm going to hold off on the chicken until I'm sure. We take our sauce, pour it in over the top. Now a lot of this is going to sink down inside, which is a great thing. We want it to be fairly wet inside there, so we want to make sure there's lots of sauce for the chicken. Let's go ahead and add more chicken. Finish that off. This was about 3 pounds of chicken breast. Again, we poached it, diced it, and now we've sauced it. I try and get all that out of there, make sure I don't waste any. Smooth out our sauce over the top of all the chicken. Now I covered this up with some foil. If you have commercial film, you can cover it up with that as well, and it helps keep the moisture inside. But in order to thicken everything up, we're just going to go with the aluminum foil. So the dip is done. All that's left is to stir it up and try it. We're finished with our buffalo wing sauce. This is Ron Bredemeyer, the inspiration for Party Fowl wing sauce. We're going to try the buffalo dip for the first time.
Excellent.
Try some myself.
That is fantastic.
I think we're there.
Yes. Thank you.
Try it at home.
Alrighty. Man, that is looking good.